Hello. I just posted the story on earning spurs, and then I thought I ought to talk to you a little bit about how you go about earning your spurs. When a rider first gets on a saddle, typically their legs swing with the motion of the horse. You need to remember the counsel I gave about learning to do nothing on a horse. That really goes for the leg. The leg hangs down around the horse, and I like to ride with the stirrups a little longer than most jump riders do, so that the leg is down and around the horse. You give a horse a signal with the side of the calf of the leg more than you do any other part of you. The foot is in the stirrup and both toes are pointed forward, slightly out, but you should be able to stand up in an English saddle at any time without the foot moving. That's the ideal placement of the foot. If you stand up and relax, lay your hand on the horse's neck and relax the heel so that the heel goes down, then the leg should be in the correct position. Again, the foot is turned out very slightly on the toe, no more than an inch or so from being straight in line with the horse. That then allows you to wear a spur and not hit the horse. Most people try to grab a horse with the calf muscle, and you don't do it with the calf muscle because that turns the toes out and puts the spurs into the horse. So you squeeze the horse with the rotator muscles that are in the leg so that you simply, just as if you were sitting still and you put your feet together and you squeeze with both feet right together with the toes and the heels together, those are the muscles in the lower leg that you use to signal the horse. Remember the fly on the shoulder? The horse doesn't need real strong aids to learn to respond. What he needs to learn to do is to respond when you do something. That's why you want to become very still so that you're not sending a horse with mixed signals. If you want him to go to the right, you simply lay the left leg on him. You don't tip off with the body. You set up nice and straight. Is one of the ways to tell if you're sitting in the right place is to reach and grab the back of your head and pick up so that the spine becomes straight and you simply stand up from that motion. And if you learn to do that, when you get on the horse, you need to go through some basic exercises. You need to stretch all the parts, all your muscles, your arms, your shoulders, your back, your legs, your hips. And then you sit down on a horse and you relax so that your seat molds around the horse on the saddle. The legs go down nice and long. Then to get the horse to go forward, you simply squeeze with the legs. That's your gas pedal. Your brake can be in your seat or in your hands, preferably in your seat and weight, so that when you want the horse to slow down, you simply tip the pelvis back and let the weight go on the back part of your seat bones. Now, you have to train a horse to listen to that. And once he listens to it, then he will respond. We had gone to teach a clinic one time, and the lady that ran the stable where we were teaching this dressage clinic, Kamari had her horse Wingo with us, and he was at about third level dressage, and the lady wanted to ride him. And Kamari had been demonstrating on him, and she was doing some half pass and some shoulder in and things that are basically lateral movements to have the horse go forward. So this lady climbs up on the saddle and she kicks the horse. Well, he had not been kicked. And he turned his head and he looked back up over his shoulder at her like, "What are you doing, lady? What do you want?" And she kicked him again. And he kind of dropped his head and he looked back at her again. And I had to turn away because I was on the point of laughing so hard because she was wanting to go forward and her horses were trained to go forward by kicking them. You don't need that. That can be a punishment if you want it to be, but it doesn't. It's not a very productive punishment because she was locked down with her hips and everything in her except the heels kicking was telling him to stand still. And we talked her through it. She finally got him to where he would trot for her. He never did canter. He never would canter because of the way her seat was sitting in the saddle, told him not to canter, told him to stop all the time. And so you can go through any kind of training exercise. You can train a horse to gallop by saying, whoa. If when you're on the horse, every time you say, whoa, you hit him with a stick until he gallops, pretty soon when you say, whoa, he'll gallop. And so you train them with a system where you are consistent in what you ask. If you want the horse to bend around your left leg to turn right, then that leg goes in right on the girth. The right rein, if we're going to go to the left, the right rein comes back. With an indirect rein, your hand comes almost over the withers. You don't want those hands to cross onto the other side, but you have and the left rein gets some pressure on it so that you tip his nose to the left, and the outside leg then goes back slightly, and you turn your body. You turn your body. I was in a clinic one time riding a really well-trained Grand Prix dressage horse, and I'm going down the rail at a walk, and the instructor was out in the center of the arena, and he didn't turn, he yelled at me, and I turned my head to look at him, and the horse went into a cantering half pass in that direction because my body was not still on him. Just by moving the head, I gave him signals. And if you want to do an experiment, get on something solid and be sitting there and close your eyes. Think about your seat bones being equal underneath you and turn your head to one side. And you'll feel one seat bone get heavy and the other one get light. So horses are very subtle. We'll talk some more about this as we go along. Hope you have a wonderful day.